everybody, Sarah here with Easy Adapted PE. I'm your veteran APE teacher, and today we're going to talk about strengthening communication with colleagues. It's a really great time to be doing this. You should be doing it all year round, but once those annual review reports and those different pieces where you're creating new goals for next year, once those start to kind of roll upon us, right, we want to make sure that our communication is really, really strong with our team. Adaptive physical education does not exist in a bubble, right? So we have this great team of people. We have OTs, PTs, speech, O&M. So like all of our therapists, we have the special education teachers, we have the PE teachers that maybe we're consulting with. The paraprofessionals are really, really important. And of course the families, and last but not least the students, right? So there's this whole group and this whole team of people that we want to make sure our communication is really strong. And now, how do we do this, right? So maybe it's mid-year, maybe you're towards the end of the year, and hopefully you've been doing this communication style since the beginning. If you haven't been doing it, start now. And here's what we're going to talk about. So this doesn't have to be a full-blown emailed meeting, 30-minute. It could be 5 minutes. It could be a quick touch point in the hallway. Maybe you are sending a quick little short email, just about one or two little things. You won't necessarily solve every problem or every challenge that you're finding with that student, but what you are doing in that moment is connecting, and you are strengthening that communication and that bond with that team member. Another strategy I want to talk about is using shared language. If the classroom teacher is using, for example, gross motor stations, and that's what they're calling it, gross motor stations, then when they come into the gym, that might be something that you also say, gross motor stations. Those kids are already in a way, right, that teacher is pre-teaching for you in a sense, like, oh, this is the language we're going to use here, this is the language you're going to hear across the board. So students are already ready to hear that language and know what it connects to. They know what it means. The other piece I want to talk about is bringing data to the table. It doesn't have to be something that's super complicated. You don't need to bring graphs and charts, although I love those, and I think those are very important when it comes to annual review reports. But when you're just having these quick touch points with the people on your team, whether it's the parents or therapists, you can say something really brief like, hey, I threw the ball 5 feet today without any assistance whatsoever. It was awesome. It's the first time I've seen it. Small little updates, they're going to show progress, and they're going to build trust. They're going to build trust with your teammates because they're going to know that you are doing the work in your setting. You're going to communicate with them that you saw Sarah throw the ball, and maybe they're like, oh wow, I'm going to try that in my therapy session today. Or maybe we'll add on to that. You know, I'll have her throw the ball, and then I'll have her do 5 jumping jacks, and I'll be like, great, I'll add on to that. And then we start that connection and that communication and that teamwork. And then when it comes to the paraprofessionals, we don't want to forget about them, right? Those are our number one helpers. They're amazing, amazing people, and they work so hard. So that communication level really needs to be high with them. So when you are wanting those paraprofessionals to kind of support what it is that you're doing, there's a lot of stuff we do in the front end, right? Hopefully a lot of stuff we got done in September, connecting with them, using those paraprofessional forums to find out more about them. But now that we're further on in the year, you know, number one, we want to make sure they're using the similar language that we are. And we could do that by, you know, telling them what the language is, letting them know that we're going to be using the same language as the teacher, putting the language up on the boards, maybe in those times where you're not there. So for example, maybe you're going to be out for a day, or you have a PD session and you're not going to be there, whatever that might be. You might say to the therapist, or to the paraprofessionals, I'm not going to be here. Here's the lesson plan. You guys are going to help with these specific pieces. Here's some of the language that we're going to use. You know, let me know how it goes. And really, you're kind of entrusting them, because you might have a sub coming in that you've never heard of before. You don't know who they are, and you can let them know that, like, I'm not really sure how they're going to do. They're really going to need your support. You know, I've already talked to them and let them know that my paras are awesome, and they're going to step in. They're going to help out, and not to take it any sort of way. So this is your role. I need your help. And I mean, that is huge, because there are some of those people those paraprofessionals are going to be your lifeline, right? When you're not there, how are these things getting done? How is everybody being safe? And now you know that it's taken care of. And those paras feel supported, and they really feel like part of the team. With students, if you're going to be starting with new goals next year, bringing those students into it, asking them, okay, what do you want your goal to be for next year? And we could do that by a simple visual, and they can choose what they're interested in trying next year. You could do that through conversation. You could do that through a device. Really depends on how that student primarily communicates, and making sure that you are bringing them in and having them be a part of their phys ed program. I mean, that's priceless, right? Because then they're going to be engaged. They're going to feel confident. They're going to know what's going to happen. And then when they're confident and they're engaged, behaviors go down, and then we are more successful, and that means that they are learning and they're growing, and that's really, really what we want, right? Finally, with the parents, the parents want to be a part of it, and we want them to be a part of it. So you're going to have a chat with them before you start creating these new goals for next year. Kind of see where they're at. Ask them what it is that they are looking for out of their kiddos. What is it that they want to see at home? Is it social skills? Is it ability to understand the games? You know, maybe they're watching football at home a lot and the kiddo just isn't picking it up. Can you help reinforce this in class so that we can have this really great family time and they understand what's going on? And, you know, maybe we play in the yard afterwards. And so all of these different pieces are really, really important for communication. We focus and we improve on that communication, we are strengthening the entire team around that student. Now start small and just stay consistent. That's all. Adaptive PE is all about consistency, right? So start small, stay consistent. You're going to see those relationships grow stronger, and the students will succeed. That's all I have for you guys today. I will see you guys next time. Like, ring, subscribe, all the things. All right.